In the next few minutes, you'll be guided into rest with a slow, calming rhythm and ancient promises designed to bring peace to your anxious heart. First, we'll steady your breathing. Then you'll hear verses that speak of God's faithful presence in moments of fear. Finally, we'll sink into stillness, where the only thing left for you to do is rest. If fear has been louder than peace, stay with me, because within moments, those whispers of assurance will begin weaving silence into your night. 2. Settling the restless mind. Why does the mind feel loudest at night, when silence should give peace? The world around you grows quiet, yet within, the thoughts seem to speed up. Worries you managed to push aside in the light of day now rise and fill the stillness. The memory of a small mistake, the uncertainty of tomorrow, the weight of decisions waiting for you. Each thought takes a chair as if in a meeting, and slowly the room becomes crowded. Instead of drifting peacefully, your mind holds on to every unfinished task, every fear, sometimes even conversations that never took place. It is here, in this silence, that anxiety pretends to be louder than peace. You try to quiet it. You tell yourself you should not think about these things right now. Yet the moment you push one thought away, two more echo back. The harder you try to shut the door, the more insistent the banging becomes. It feels as if the silence carries no comfort at all, but rather magnifies every restless feeling in your chest. Your body might begin to feel heavy in the mattress, but your thoughts remain quick, as though they are pacing a narrow room. You want peace, but instead the night stretches longer, and your heart forgets how to rest. So we begin. Not by forcing the thoughts to leave, but by giving your breathing a simple rhythm. Place your focus there, right where your life and God's gift of breath meet. Take a slow breath in through your nose, steady and full, counting to 4 if you choose. Hold it gently for just a moment. Then breathe out, slow, quiet, soft, with a longer time than it took to breathe in. Let your chest lower. Feel your shoulders loosen. Notice the release. Try again. Smooth breath in, light pause, quiet breath out. This rhythm is already enough to soften the noise. As you continue, imagine your mind as if it were a crowded room. Chairs filled with anxious thoughts, each one talking over the other. But with each exhale, one chair empties. A person leaves the space, and the room grows quieter. Another breath, another chair placed back against the wall, empty now. The voices soften. Soon you are standing in a room where only a few faint whispers remain. You don't need to remove every sound. It is enough that silence begins to grow stronger than the noise. Even if a thought returns, it does not need to command your attention. You can notice it the way you hear a clock ticking in the corner of a room, present, but not demanding. It stays in the background, and you are free to leave it there. No task needs you now. No decision waits for your action at this hour. Nothing urgent lingers in front of you. Night has given you permission to step back, and in this moment, you are only called to be still and to rest in the presence of the one who never sleeps. Feel that truth cover you gently. The only requirement on you right now is to breathe, to allow the body God created to slow and soften. The questions pressing on you will not vanish in an instant, but they no longer need to hold you tightly. For in this slow release, you are prepared to listen to another voice. Not a voice of fear, but a voice of peace. A whisper carrying eternal assurance is about to step into this space you've made. Where the noise once pressed in, now room is opening for words that will not fade. Notice what it feels like to surrender, even just a little. The chest unclenches, the heartbeat steadies. The thoughts do not vanish completely, but their grip eases. You feel the beginning of calm, the first thread of rest weaving itself into this night. You realize you do not have to win against your thoughts. You only have to rest in something greater than them. Feel how different it is to say to your mind, "You do not need to solve anything now." That sentence alone can soften the sharpness inside. So let this be the turning point. The noise has been named. The breath has filled the lungs. The room of your mind has started to empty. There is relief in this quieting, a relief that only needs small steps and slow breaths. Now you are ready to listen to something more than your own restless voice. Prepare your heart as a room waiting for a guest, for words that have been spoken long ago. They were not written only for another time or another person. They were given for you tonight, in this quiet moment, ready to steady your anxious heart. 3. The whisper of presence. What if the very first assurance you needed tonight was that you are never alone? Even in the stillness of this room, even when the quiet feels heavy and your thoughts swirl, you are not abandoned. Loneliness has a way of whispering that you've been left to face your fears by yourself. The dark hours can make you imagine that no one sees you, no one notices the ache, and no one understands what weighs on you tonight. Yet your heart was not created to be isolated. You were made for presence, and the very one who formed you promises that his nearness is constant. Think about the way the heart fears being left out. Have you ever felt the silence stretch so long that it almost seemed to press in on you, as if the walls carried the reminder that you were by yourself? In those moments, the fear is not only about being without people. It reaches deeper, creating the question of whether you are truly known, whether you are held in any greater care. That unease builds into anxiety, fueling restless thoughts that loop and sharpen. It convinces you that being unseen means being unprotected. And long into the night, this burden feels heavier than your body can bear. But the truth whispers back softly, not with noise, but with quiet certainty. I am with you always. A line written centuries ago, yet it arrives here, tonight, like a gentle hand resting on your shoulder. It doesn't come with loud trumpets, nor does it force your silence into joy. Instead, it offers something smaller, but stronger: constant presence. The same voice that spoke the world into being speaks through his word into your present fear, reminding you that you are not overlooked. Imagine, just for a moment, those words placed beside you like a companion sitting quietly at the edge of your bed. Not many words are needed. No complicated explanations, just the reality of someone here, keeping watch. You don't have to reach for them. They move near to you without demand. The weight of aloneness, which pressed so sharply only moments ago, begins to soften as it's met with the promise of never being forsaken. Picture the anxiety within you as if it were a wave. It rises, tall and strong, pulling your attention to its height. catching your breath. Yet every wave, no matter how high, eventually breaks and dissolves into the shore. The water does not stay risen indefinitely. The noise of it lessens, and what once looked so towering becomes part of the steady rhythm of the sea. In this same way, the anxiety climbing now loses its permanence in the presence beside you. The fear is not endless. It is only passing water. Let this picture remind you that the real truth underneath is steady. God is not absent, though your emotions may try to convince you otherwise. With every slow inhale and every steady release, let your heart repeat the phrase, present, not absent. Try it gently with your breath. Inhale, present. Exhale, not absent. No need to rush. Each rhythm writes the assurance across your heart a little deeper. This is not something you have to believe with force. It is already true, whether or not you feel strong enough to hold it. Now, notice little shifts inside. Your shoulders are not clinging as tightly. Your breathing feels smoother, more natural. The sharp edge of loneliness softens into the calm of company. Where silence once brought fear, now it becomes a backdrop against which God's presence feels clear. You are companioned. You are not simply lying in your room with your thoughts. You are held by a promise that cannot be broken. Stay here in this awareness for a moment. Rest in the kind nearness of the one who hears even the smallest sigh. No prayer formed tonight is too quiet for him to notice, even if no words come. The very ache itself is known completely. This alone can ease the thought that you must fight your battles in private strength. You have not been left to do so. Keep breathing. Allow yourself to lean back into that steady nearness. You can imagine the words of assurance as a covering, a light blanket that drapes over you with warmth, not weight. This is the first great shift of the night. You move from isolation into comforted presence. You don't need to work hard for that comfort. It is given. You don't need to call out into an empty night. You don't need to fear that the silence means disconnection. Presence has been promised, and presence is here. What once felt like a hollow room now feels like a sanctuary, quiet but not empty, calm but not deserted. And so, let this whisper carry you further. You are not alone when the fears rise. You are not alone when the noise feels loud. And you are not alone as your body softens here, preparing for deeper rest. All of this truth prepares your heart for the next assurance waiting, a whisper that speaks not only of companionship, but of safety. For what the anxious mind longs to know with equal desire is this: in the hours of darkness, when fear imagines harm, can there truly be protection? That is the comfort waiting just ahead. Fourth, whisper of protection. What if the unseen dangers no longer needed to keep you awake? Your anxious thoughts often stir here in the quiet, convincing you that something may go wrong, that the shadows hide more than silence. The mind has a way of playing out every possibility, both the real and the imagined, until peace feels impossible. It tells you stories of what may happen, looping the same what if again and again, each time making it heavier, each time stealing more of your rest. Even though the room is calm and the night is still, your body tenses as though it needs to fight against invisible threats. It's natural to want to protect yourself, to scan every possibility, as though preparation would calm you. But what happens instead is a storm within you, a storm built from rehearsing dangers that never arrive. What if I forgot something important? What if tomorrow brings bad news? What if I cannot handle what comes? These questions race one over another, waves that never seem to settle. It feels as if simply letting go of vigilance would mean you might be caught unready. Fear tells you that safety depends entirely on how tightly you hold control. Now, breathe gently and hear a different whisper offered to your restless heart. God Himself speaks of covering you, of being your shelter, your hiding place, your safe rest. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. These words have carried comfort across centuries, and tonight they are here, spoken quietly for you. This is a promise that above every shadow, above every imagined fear, your life rests in the care of one who does not sleep. Let yourself picture this whisper, not the cold stone of walls, not locked doors, but the gentle shadow under wide and sheltering wings. The same way a bird draws its young close, shielding them from storm or predator, you are gathered, covered where you cannot see, hidden where you cannot reach. You remain protected, not because of your strength, but because of His. Your anxious body can soften inside this shadow, knowing that no harm unseen can separate you from the care already in place. Take another slow breath in. Feel your chest expand, as though filling with air is like entering a sanctuary. Hold for a moment, and with each gentle exhale, imagine the shield of care around you growing stronger. Again, inhale softly. Imagine the curve of strong wings above you. Pause, breathe out, and feel fear lose its grip. Each breath does not create protection. It simply lets you sense what was already true. Notice how the mind wants to cling, to ask again, but what if? Let those questions rise, notice them, and then picture them slipping down the slope of a wing, falling outside the safe shelter where you remain. The risks your mind names cannot climb in here. They cannot reach the space you have been given. You do not need to defend yourself tonight, because the defense is already made. Safety is not a task. Safety was promised before your fears ever came. Allow your body to rest in that thought. Your shoulders no longer need to stay stiff. Your hands, if they've curled in tension, can soften open. Let your jaw untighten. Let the muscles in your legs grow heavy. Every small release in your body is evidence that you believe, even if only slightly. You are watched over. Nothing in this room waits to harm you. Nothing in this night lurks unseen to undo you. The one who shields you as you breathe has already promised to keep you. Take time to imagine yourself beneath that covering. You can picture the vast sky above, yet here you are held under sheltering wings. You are not exposed. You are not unguarded. The arms of shelter touch every side around you. You do not need to create your own shield. The shield is given. You lie beneath it the way a child rests beneath a blanket, unaware of how much protection it offers, only knowing the sense of calm it brings. Now, sit inside the ease of this truth. You do not need to fight back dangers of the night. You do not need to wrestle with what you cannot see. You are enclosed, guarded, surrounded. Tomorrow will bring its own moments, but tonight you are under shadow, And that shadow is presence, it is care, it is everlasting watchfulness. When thoughts grow restless, return to the whisper. You are covered. Say it softly in your mind with each breath. Inhale, covered. Exhale, protected. This rhythm will slowly replace the storm with calm. Let the relief spread through you now. Your body may still remember to tense, but now you can remind it with every breath that safety has already been placed here. You are guarded where you lie. You are not left open to chance. You are safe. As the quiet deepens around you, rest in the certainty that protection is more sure than the night's fears. You are wrapped in care larger than anything your imagination can create. And now, with this shield holding you, you can release the anxiety of unseen dangers. Under shadow, you are safe. And as you rest in safety, your heart may now prepare to hear about another promise, the easing of tomorrow's weight, and the gentle truth of provision. 5. Whisper of provision. What if the weight of tomorrow's needs could be lifted right now? You may feel your chest tighten as you think of bills waiting to be paid, conversations you must face, or the uncertainty of how you will keep going. Those thoughts tend to grow louder when the body is tired. Instead of rest, the mind runs restless, circling around questions that do not need answers tonight. The worries pretend to be urgent, but their weight belongs to days not yet here. For many people, anxious thoughts find the same center. How will I provide? How will I be cared for? What happens if I do not have enough strength, enough time, enough money, enough health? The future is unseen, and that uncertainty feels heavy. The more you enter into those questions, the more your body begins to hold them tight. Muscles tense, your jaw stiffens, and the pit of your stomach begins to ache. Scarcity whispers its story over and over until it feels true. There will not be enough. And once your mind accepts that story, rest slips even further away. This is where the whisper of provision speaks. Long ago, God assured his people that he provides daily bread. Not tomorrow's bread in advance, not next week's answers all at once, but what is needed today. This promise reaches even into your night. You are assured that your Father knows what you need before you ask him. That means nothing is hidden, nothing is unseen. Think of that truth. Whatever weighs on you now has already been noticed. Whatever you fear about tomorrow has already been measured. You are not forgotten in your need, because the provider himself has set aside what will be required for you. Take a deep, slow breath in now. Hold it as though you are holding everything you carried through the day. Then breathe out and let the air take with it one concern. Do this again. Inhale slowly. Notice the weight you have held. Pause with it for a brief moment, and then exhale, releasing another small piece of the burden. You do not need to release everything at once. Just let it go one breath at a time. Every exhale is an act of trust, saying quietly, I do not need to carry this right now. Imagine yourself wearing a heavy backpack. Inside are all the thoughts and worries you rehearsed. The bag is stuffed full, work that is unfinished, groceries not yet bought, conversations yet to come, medical reports, bank statements, late-night fears with no names. The weight presses your shoulders and bends your back. Now, picture setting that backpack down at your feet. See yourself crouching, unhooking the straps and letting the weight fall off. Place it at the feet of peace, a place where God Himself takes what you laid down. You do not need to carry that bag tonight. You can leave it here, knowing it is cared for. Notice how your body feels without the weight. Shoulders easier, back straighter, breath fuller. Life without the backpack feels possible again. God does not ask you to walk every step with burdens strapped across your shoulders. He reminds you that His yoke is gentle and His load light. To rest in His provision means to stop trying to generate your own supplies out of nothing, and instead accept that what you need is given, not in a rush, not always early, but always in time. Think of the people centuries ago who woke each morning to gather bread provided in the wilderness. None of it carried from today to tomorrow. None of it gathered in heaps. Each day there was enough for that day. At first, anxiety tried to cheat, tried to collect more, tried to hold extra for the unknown. But in the end, the teaching was clear. Only today's needs had to be answered today. So it is still true. Your heart is steadied not by storing answers, but by receiving enough for the step you face right now. Take another slow breath in. As you exhale, picture one specific worry dropping into the bag you already set down. Watch that concern sink away from you, left at the foot of peace. Inhale again, and on the exhale, let another one slide off. One after another, each exhale lightens you. Over time, the bag becomes full, thick with your concerns, but it is no longer on your back. You do not reach in to hold them again. You do not shuffle through them in the dark. You leave them where they are, because they are not yours to hold through the night. Tomorrow will bring its own set of challenges, but tomorrow is not here yet. You cannot solve it tonight, and you are not asked to. Even now, as you rest here, something deeper is at work. You are being provided for in unseen ways. Breath fills your lungs without effort. The body repairs and restores itself as you drift into rest. These are ongoing reminders that God gives without your planning or striving. That same unseen hand will provide what you need when the next day begins. You do not need to force it into existence, so let today be complete. Say quietly to yourself, "Today had enough. Today is done." Reassure your heart with that line until it accepts it. This whole day has given what it could, and you are now permitted to stop demanding more of it. The night is not designed for striving. It is designed for resting. Faith does not mean ignoring what must be done. It means trusting that the one who provided today will not abandon you tomorrow. You can soften more into your pillow now. Your body can know security, not because you solved everything, but because God Himself has promised to meet you where you are. The weight of provision has been shifted from your grasp to His hands. Breathe out once more, steady and full, and let yourself rest in the truth that today is enough. And with today complete, another whisper begins to form. If you trust in provision for each day, then trust itself becomes the next assurance. The heart that feels cared for is ready to release control, to rest fully. That is where the next whisper is waiting. Sixth, whisper of steadfastness. What if the God you lean on never shifts, never fades, never fails? In a world where days change quickly and what felt certain yesterday can fall apart today, the heart longs for something steady, you have felt how change unsettles you. What made you feel secure can slip away without warning, and your thoughts rush to ask what will vanish next. The anxious mind fears sudden change because it makes ground under the feet feel unstable. Like standing on sand as the tide rushes out, you notice yourself sinking with nothing to hold you. That is why the promise of steadfastness matters so deeply. Think about how quickly the world around you moves. One day your plans look firm, the next day they scatter. News changes, circumstances shift, even your emotions swing without warning, making your inner ground feel fragile. You may notice moments when you try to hold everything steady with your own two hands, only to find them trembling under the weight. And in those moments, fear whispers that everything is at risk, that even the things you trusted can collapse without warning. That is the restlessness of change. It creates a false story that nothing is secure enough to trust. But Scripture whispers differently. God has told His people through the ages that He does not change. He remains the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. He is steadfast, faithful, and sure. His nature does not crumble or wear thin. Unlike shifting emotions, unlike unstable ground, unlike promises broken by people who meant well but could not keep them, God's presence does not weaken. That whisper is not loud but steady, calm, almost like a reminder spoken softly to someone panicking. I do not change. I have not left. I will not fail. These simple truths start to bring calm back into restless nights. Picture something solid, ancient, steady. Imagine a mountain rising high, unmoved by centuries of storms. Seasons wash across its slopes, lightning strikes its peaks, winds howl at its edges, yet it remains in its place. Generations came and went, but the mountain did not shift. Its form is secure, its strength unshaken. Imagine yourself now at the base of such a mountain, leaning your back against stone as old as time itself. No matter how the wind circles or the rain falls, the mountain will not fall with you. That is the picture of God's faithfulness. Solid, still, sure. Now let your breathing match that picture of strength. Inhale slowly. Feel the breath fill your chest as though you are taking in something immovable. Hold it briefly, noticing how your body steadies in that pause, like leaning against firm rock. Then exhale gently, imagining the looseness of fear flowing out of you as you breathe. Again, inhale. Take in strength. Pause. Notice steadiness. Exhale. Let the weight fall away. With each rhythm of breathing, let the mountain image grow clearer, the reminder of a God who does not falter, pressing deeply into your heart. This steadfast God does not tire. He does not grow weary of holding His promise. He does not crumble or shift when storms come. Where others falter from exhaustion, His strength remains. Where all else fails, He continues. Think about how often you have leaned on something fragile, only to watch it break. Plans undone, relationships strained, health uncertain. But the one truth that steadies is this: the one you lean on does not weaken, and your weight does not overwhelm Him. Anxiety feels like standing on a floor ready to shift, but faith anchors you to bedrock. It may not erase every thought, but it changes your footing. The mind begins to realize it is not standing on sand, but pressed against unmovable stone. Your racing pulse steadies slightly when you accept that the ground beneath you will not suddenly vanish. Your body loosens when it understands it is held not by your power, but by a strength outside of you. A strength older, stronger, unchanging. So in this moment, let your body lean into that truth. Imagine you are lying back, and beneath you is not fragile ground, but stone that cannot move. Your breath deepens because you know you will not fall. The whisper that repeats is simple, steady, unchanging, faithful. These are not abstract words, but anchors. Let each repetition calm you further. Whisper them in your thoughts if you like. Steady, unchanging, faithful. Notice how your body reacts when it believes this truth. Shoulders soften downward. Muscles untangle. You do not brace in anticipation of collapse because you know nothing under you is breaking. Where before you clenched against change, now you can yield, you can let go. You are secure because the God you trust remains what He has always been, steadfast. Think of a mountain again. Imagine night falling over it. Winds rush past, unseen storms circle, yet nothing shifts it. You are pressed to that mountain, resting. You can sleep against its side without fear that dawn will bring its collapse. This picture can stay with you tonight, a quiet reminder each time your thoughts want to rehearse change or loss. You are not standing unprotected in shifting sands. You are sheltered against something immovable. Take in one more deep breath now. Hold it in place. Feel your body rise. Exhale slowly and sink further against the steady presence holding you. Each breath you take is reinforced with that truth. You are anchored against what cannot move. Even in rest you are safe, because the one who holds you is never shaken. Faith in this steadfast presence does not need to be loud or overflowing. Even the smallest measure can anchor your soul more firmly than all your restless attempts to control change. Tonight, you are allowed to lean back fully on that immovable strength. Anxiety weakens here, not through your effort, but through His constant faithfulness that surrounds you. And now that you have felt the steadiness of an unchanging God, the heart can sink even deeper into the next gift. From the rock of steadfastness, the path now leads you into peace itself. Peace that will wrap around you like still water in the quiet of night. 7. Whisper of deep peace. What if peace could be so real it felt like it wrapped around you? Imagine it as something more than a thought or a hope, but something close, like a presence that moves in around your body and steadies your heart. For many nights, you may have wondered if peace was out of reach, a rare thing that happens for someone else, but not for you. When anxious thoughts push and pull at you, peace seems like it belongs far away, almost like a dream that cannot be touched. Tonight, we let that belief drift away, and instead let in the whisper that peace is closer than you realize. Anxiety often tricks the heart into imagining peace is impossible. You may have told yourself, "It won't come for me." The pattern of spinning thoughts and restless body movements can feel so strong that peace becomes something foreign, unreachable. The noise in your mind keeps repeating itself, and you begin to believe that even if peace exists, it will never find its way here. Anxiety thrives on that story, a narrative that convinces you to give up before you even begin. But the truth is much quieter. Peace is not distant or out of reach. It is promised, and its nearness is more real than the voices of doubt. You notice how thoughts argue in your mind, one voice battling with another, like a debate that never finds its conclusion. You try to rest, but one thought interrupts, and another answers back. They pull you forward and backward until your body is still lying down, but your mind is pacing through long hallways. This restless argument keeps telling you that you are not yet safe enough to let go. But here, in this moment, when you choose to pause, the noise can begin to lose its hold because another whisper rises up, a promise of peace that passes understanding. It cannot always be explained. It does not come from solving the puzzle or winning the argument in your mind. It comes as a gift, unexpected, steady, deep. Picture a rushing stream, waves colliding and water splashing upward. This is the way your thoughts sometimes sound, crashing and overlapping. Now imagine a still pool rising slowly from the edges of that stream. At first, the stream pushes against it, ripples moving fast beneath the surface. But over time, the still water covers the restless stream, softening its movement until the sharp sounds are gone. You are left with smooth water, clear and unmoving, reflecting the quiet sky above. This is peace. Where there was motion and noise, now there is silence that does not feel empty, but full. You can rest within it. Take a slow breath in. Notice the way your chest rises, the way your body lifts with the air. Hold the breath gently, not with tension, but simply noticing it. Then exhale and let the muscles soften more than before. As you release the air, imagine that you are letting go of the ripple, letting it sink beneath the calm water. Again, inhale, inhaling tranquility. Let that breath reach deeply into you. Hold softly, and then release. Notice how the hush deepens with each exhale. This pattern of breathing is not small or unimportant. It is like opening a door in your chest, inviting peace to cover what was restless. Anxious thoughts will try to rise again. But know this, the peace that has been promised does not depend on them being silent first. Peace does not wait for permission. It is not temporary like calm weather before a new storm. This peace is described as surpassing understanding because it comes from beyond you, not from your effort, not from your plans, not from controlling every detail. Tonight, you can choose to accept it, even without knowing how it reaches you. Just as air fills your lungs without you commanding each breath, so this peace can fill you even when your thoughts have not explained it. Let yourself imagine this peace as something covering you. It stretches out smoothly, settling across your mind, your chest, your whole body. It is not heavy, but it has weight enough to comfort you, the way a soft blanket calms a child. It tells your nervous system that you are safe, that you can allow the body to rest, that not every part of you must stay alert tonight. This covering does not disappear if your mind drifts back toward worry for a moment. It remains steady, stronger than the fleeting pressures of anxious thought. Feel into that sense of being wrapped. You might notice how your shoulders lower a bit more when you imagine it in place. Your jaw may feel lighter, your hands less tense. The heart stops racing quite so hard when the body believes it is covered. Trust that the peace promised is strong enough to hold you through the night. You do not need to understand it. You do not need to maintain it with effort. You simply need to receive it, to allow the blanket of calm to remain. Stay with your breath as you rest in this. Inhale and remind yourself, peace. Exhale and whisper quietly to yourself, still. Let these words guide the rhythm. Each rise of your chest is a reminder of what is true. Each fall is a release of what is not needed. You can sink deeper under this assurance, sinking into the blanket that covers you. Nothing is urgent here. Nothing demands your energy. Peace wraps you fully, like still waters surrounding every restless corner inside. This peace is not just for minutes or hours. It does not vanish when dawn arrives, because the one who promises it is timeless. Fear comes and goes. Anxiety rises and falls, but peace remains constant when it is given by the one who is unchanging. You can lay down your striving into something that will not pull back from you when you need it most. Its gift is steady, unbroken, unending. You are not reaching for a temporary calm, but resting in a peace designed to hold you always. Notice the blanket of calm now. It rests across you, and you beneath it. Feel how you are allowed to let the day finally end here. There is no race left to run, no danger left to guard, no burden left to carry, just peace. Let it deepen, let it remain. And as you lie here wrapped in that calm, know that another whisper waits just ahead. Peace prepares the way for the final release. Trust. When you trust fully, anxiety loosens completely, and you step into the rest you were made to know. 8. Whisper of trust. What if surrendering control was freedom, not loss? You may have spent so much energy tonight holding tight, worried that if you release even an inch, everything will fall apart. That sense of needing to grasp tightly can make it feel as though rest is dangerous, as though the moment you let down your guard, something will slip. But what if the very act of loosening your grip was not weakness, but the gift that opens the door to peace? What if freedom is found not in holding, but in letting go? Anxiety often clings to control because it feels like the only safeguard against uncertainty. You might notice it when your mind rehearses conversations or replays events from the past. You may feel it when you find yourself planning and replanning tomorrow before the night is through. At the heart of this is not laziness or weakness, but fear. The fear of falling if you do not hold everything together. Yet, this tightness never brings relief. The tighter you cling, the more restless you feel, because fear has convinced you that you are the only keeper of your future. Think about your body right now. Are your shoulders firm, as though bracing against pressure? Is your jaw taut, hands clasped or curled without notice? Anxiety commands the body to stay rigid, to hold up the whole world. But the more the body locks, the less rest is possible. The mind tells you that control is safety, yet the body proves otherwise, because you cannot hold control without wearing yourself thin. This is where we see the truth. The tighter we try to cling to control, the less able we are to breathe, the less able we are to rest. Now hear the whisper. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. These words cut through the illusion that you are meant to balance everything yourself. They loosen the false belief that safety is found in your own careful plans. Instead, They direct you toward a stronger foundation, not what you can create or predict, but what is already secure because God holds it. Trust is not ignorance, and it is not passivity. It is leaning onto a strength that cannot drop you. Imagine this image. You are holding tight to reins, leather pulled hard in your hands, your grip burning with effort. You believe if you let go, you will be flung from your place. Yet the strength of your grip only exhausts you. Now picture slowly loosening your fingers, one by one, releasing the reins. Instead of being thrown, you realize strong hands are guiding the way for you. You are lifted, not dropped. Settle into that image for a moment. Breathe in. Feel the tension held tightly. Breathe out and picture the reins leaving your palms, falling into hands far steadier than yours. Bring your awareness back to your body, slowly, gently. Let your shoulders go heavy into the bed. Feel the muscles around your neck soften and loosen. Allow your arms to sink, no longer holding anything aloft. Bring release into your legs, no longer taut, no longer ready to stand guard. With each exhale, say quietly in your mind, no need to hold it all up. Trust creates this space. You need not support the weight of every fear. It is not yours to carry alone. Trusting is not doing nothing. Many fear that trust means inaction, a careless surrender of responsibility. But here, tonight, trust simply means you rest in what is sure. You still live, breathe, and take steps when the time comes. But you do so without the illusion that you are the foundation. When trust takes root, you live from peace, not panic. You walk with freedom, not pressure. In the night, that trust allows you to release the endless rehearsals, because none of them keep the ground from shifting, and none of them hold your future in place. Notice how the simple act of softening the body begins to lighten your mind. As trust grows stronger, anxiety loosens. The spinning thoughts soften their grip. The rehearsals grow less loud. What once felt unbearable now feels like something you can breathe beside. The body responds to this surrender because it was never meant to stay locked and rigid all night long. Rest comes gently, almost unnoticed at first, because trust is not a loud command but a quiet release. Think of yourself now, stepping slowly onto a pair of strong hands. First, one foot, uncertain, then the other, expecting to fall, ready to brace for loss, and instead you rise steady in palms that do not tremble. You realize you are being held. Nothing is slipping. Nothing is breaking. You are sustained without your own effort to balance. Trust feels like this. It surprises you with the freedom you did not know was waiting. Each moment you soften further, more of that rest unfolds before you. Take another slow breath. Inhale and think quietly, I am held. Exhale and say softly, I release. Let those two words mark your rhythm, held, release. With repetition, they reshape the story in your mind. You are not abandoned and unsupported. You are held. You are not the one holding everything steady. You can release. This pattern rewires your heart toward peace, one breath at a time. Now, gently sink even deeper into your pillow. The blanket around you becomes more than fabric. It is a picture of security. Trust allows you to close your eyes without scanning, without testing the air for danger, without rehearsing every path. You can rest not because you earned it, but because you are cared for even here. Your body knows it. Your mind is beginning to accept it. Trust has become the pathway to true rest. This is the whisper that brings the mind and the body together. Control loosens, tension softens. The truth of being held steadies you. You no longer need to brace against loss, because freedom is here, and it comes through trust. You are not falling into emptiness. You are resting into hands that will never let go. And now, as trust seeps deep into your bones and muscles, the heart prepares for the final descent into quiet. All the whispers of presence, protection, provision, steadfastness, and peace have brought you here. Trust gathers them together into one final gift. Rest, the place where all whispers merge into stillness. 9. The final whisper, rest. What if all that's left now is to rest, held in unshakable love? You have listened to the whispers one by one. Presence, protection, provision, steadfastness, peace, and trust. Each has laid down a brick in the foundation beneath you. Now, what remains is not more to carry, but the opposite. What is left is for the carrying to stop. You do not need to add anything. You do not need to search. You only need to rest in a love that is steady, quiet, and constant. A love that does not slip from your grasp when the night grows silent. Even now, notice how your body still holds on to small traces of tension. Even after presence reassured you, even after protection covered you, even after provision lifted weight from your chest, the body remembers. The muscles keep their grip almost out of habit. That tension is the final thread to release, and it will loosen one place at a time. You are not in a rush. You are simply letting each piece of your body know that this night is not for holding. It is for softening. Begin at the top of your head. Notice if your brow is drawn tight, if lines run across your forehead. Allow it to soften now. Let it smooth out as though warm light is spreading over it. Move to your eyes, closed, but sometimes still clenched. Let the small muscles around them release. Feel the heaviness of eyelids resting with no need to watch or scan. Then notice your jaw. If it has been locked, let your lips part slightly, enough to take away the grip. Your whole face can begin to sink. Calm, warm, still. Now, bring your attention to your shoulders. Draw in a slow breath, and as you breathe out, imagine the weight sliding down and away, melting into the bed below. Your arms hang heavy, no longer stiff against your sides. Your hands loosen, fingers uncurling, palms open instead of closed. Your chest rises and falls steady, not hurried. Let your breath find its rhythm, gentle and free. With each cycle, the shoulders release more, no longer guarding, no longer bracing. Move to your stomach. The core often tightens with each anxious thought, holding tension like a knot. Breathe into that space now and allow it to loosen. Let the belly rise without resistance as air flows in, and fall with gratitude as you breathe out. The knot loosens. The soft place at your center knows it is safe enough to release. Then draw attention to your legs. Thighs, calves, ankles, heavy, steady, grounded. Allow them to sink deeper into the surface below, supported without expectation. Finally, feel the soles of your feet. Let them relax down through the mattress, carrying nothing, gripping nothing. Now the whole body rests in a different posture. Every muscle softer, than before, every thought less urgent. The weight you once carried distributes, sinking downward and leaving you lighter, freer still. This is not your body preparing to fight or to run. This is your body accepting its right to rest. Remember the whisper that God gives rest to His beloved. Rest is not something you must earn by getting every answer right. Rest is not something withheld because you didn't carry the day without flaw. Rest is His gift. Not work, not burden, just gift. Like a gentle hand placing a blanket over you when you are already drifting. It comes not because of your striving, but because you are beloved. God calls you His own, not because of what you have done, but because of who He is. And out of that love comes rest as a gift. You can imagine yourself as a child again, safe at last, fully held. The day's noise has ended, and you climb into arms that do not fail. The body goes soft, the eyes close without fear, because you know you are surrounded. That same picture belongs to you now. The chest no longer tight with what must be done. The fingers no longer clutching at control. You are as that child, resting without doubt in the arms that promise never to drop you. All the whispers you have heard tonight meet here together. Presence reassures you that you are not alone. Protection guards you from what feels unknown. Provision sets down the load of tomorrow. Steadfastness places you on ground unshaken. Peace covers you with stillness. Trust allows you to release control. Every one of them comes together in this moment to bring the final whisper, the whisper of rest. Not shallow, not fleeting. Deep, quiet, lasting rest. You have been led tenderly along this path, but now there is nothing left to do. No next step, no next thought. Just this, to drift into the rest already provided for you. Let your breath continue at its quiet rhythm. Inhale soft, exhale steady. Each cycle carries you further into that rest. Each whisper mingles with the next until they form silence, and that silence holds you in love. The body loosens more as the mind quiets. You may notice thoughts fading like echoes growing faint. Their volume lowers until there is only stillness. As they dissolve, you are free to go deeper. There is no need to resist. You can let yourself lean fully into this rest. Breathe once more. Let the breath go, and with it the last trace of weight. All that remains now is the calm of being safe, reassured, beloved. Drift slowly, sink softly. Allow the gift to take you completely. That is the whisper of rest, the final word spoken into your anxious night. And now fade toward silence, prayerful and complete. 814. 10th. Conclusion. Faith whispered into fear transforms silence into safety and anxiety into rest. Tonight, you have been guided step by step into calm, each whisper reminding your heart that you are not left alone. When the night feels heavy again, come back to this space. Allow the words you've heard to meet you once more and lead your mind into stillness. These whispers are always near, waiting to quiet the noise that keeps you awake. Now let yourself drift freely. Breathe slowly, release every thought, and allow sleep to come. You are held, steady and secure in steadfast love.